Welcome to the show. Well, it was a big week in New York for Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. And there are count them, five primaries, including Maryland next week. Let's start the conversation tonight with the New York discussion. Tom, any surprises for you in the Empire State?
Not really, because I figured, Trump and Hillary are both, that's their home state. And so I wasn't surprised at all. I was a little surprised that, perhaps some of the other Republican candidates even did as well as they did, especially, Cruz got trumped, but after he said everything about New York State, what could be left after that? On the Democratic side, I think Hillary did fine. I would have expected her maybe to do a little better than that in her home state, but she did very well. And the interesting thing I found was how low the turnout was on the Republican side. They had more votes in Wisconsin than they did in New York State on the Republican side.
When on the Democratic side, Mayor Bill de Blasio thinks there's something amiss because there were 125,000 Democrats removed from the voter rolls. Now, the election
were they all living?
The election head says it's just a cleanup process, but Janice, what do you think about that?
I think the entire popular vote's a scam, and everything goes back to the delegates anyway. So,
I mean,
well, this remains to be seen.
We don't have.
But 125,000 removed from the rolls. I'd have to get a little deeper in those numbers.
Well,
if
yeah,
I were.
if that's, but that's.
I mean, that's not.
They don't know yet, right?
Well, they don't know yet. I mean, he
They probably
explained
just
the
misplaced
numbers.
it somewhere.
He
I
explained
mean,
the numbers.
Democratic governor, Democratic mayor. So I don't think that there's malfeasance there. I really don't. The biggest thing I think is you mentioned about that being Hillary's home state. Well, Hillary's home state's Illinois, I believe. Okay.
Well,
Bernie
it's what
Sanders
she
is a native of
claims,
Brooklyn.
She was the senator from New
Well,
York.
she represented, but
Yeah.
But I
She
think
lives there now for about 10 years.
Trump I think
I
performed
wonder
to
if
his expectations.
that makes her an illegal alien.
Undocumented immigrant.
Oh,
We have plenty of people looking for them all over the place. They're every rock, so maybe they'll pick her.
But Trump performed to where he was expected. His delegate count came in to above their party's expectations, and I think that has really closed off Ted Cruz. I think he's now mathematically eliminated from winning. If we don't count on the
Well, yeah,
delegates.
there still could be a brokered
Right.
convention.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I think it's going to be.
he
I
can't
really
get
think it's
enough
gonna be.
delegates, that's for sure.
Well, I said Cruz is eliminated, that he can't get the 1237
Yes.
going into prior to the convention. That doesn't mean that Donald Trump has won. But
Right.
No.
is anyone going to call for Ted Cruz to step down like he asked for John Kasich to step out of the race?
Well, and here's a great question. If it goes to a brokered convention, is there a chance Kasich might get the nomination?
I can't imagine that scenario. I think the population, those that actually care about the election, which unfortunately I believe is a very small percentage, I can't believe that the population wouldn't stand up and just be in an uproar if it wasn't one of the top two.
You're going to have half the voting population up in an uproar anyway, no matter who gets nominated.
Yeah.
If Trump gets it, then all of Ted Cruz's supporters are going to be in uproar. Ted Cruz gets it, all of Trump's supporters are going to be in uproar.
You fix it with a Trump Cruz ticket.
Or a
I don't
Trump
know if
Kasich
that's
ticket. Or a Trump Kasich
There's
ticket.
too many egos in that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You notice too, even I guess they came out, John McCain said he's not going to the convention.
I saw that.
Christy Todd Whitman, former governor of Jersey, said she will not vote for Donald Trump no matter what. So they got some problems there, I think, and Cleveland is not going to be pretty.
But what about
I think we can be pretty sure.
Senator Sanders?
Well, that was my next question. Senator Sanders got 42% of the vote. Senator Clinton, Secretary of State Clinton, whatever you want to call her, criminal Clinton. Did I say that out loud?
Oh, be nice.
Got 58% of the vote. I don't know. What's that mean?
I don't know.
139 delegates for Clinton, 106 for Sanders. Sanders is mathematically out of it as well, correct?
Not exactly. I think there's still a chance there. Again, they keep factoring in all of the superdelegates
Superdelegates.
as hers, and they're a considerable number. So, there are some things, it looks like she is. However, he's not going to go away. And
Well-
he's more about a movement than he is simply about himself. The interesting fact I saw, in his own home state of Vermont, what percentage of the vote in the primary Bernie Sanders got? Anybody wager or guess?
How much?
86.1%. He did far better than Hillary, any other candidate has done in any primary. And Trump, remember, has rarely gotten, this might be the first time over 50% of the vote.
No, he had it in another state. I don't recall
One?
which state.
I
I
mean,
think it was
Bernie's
one
had
other
him in a
state.
gazillion, compared.
But the
it's not
challenge
comparison.
is,
No
Trump was
comparison.
running against 17 different candidates at one point, or 16 different
Yeah.
candidates. So the
Well,
vote
even
is
now,
vastly
he's
split.
having trouble.
So he's still having trouble get over the 50%
Yes.
majority. But my question is, the supporters of Bernie Sanders are
Mm-hmm.
rabid in their support of him, and they really do
So
not
are
care
the
for
Trump,
Hillary.
So are the Trump supporters at that.
Yeah, but
So-
Trump
so-
supporters
so
are just
it's
as
true.
much.
I would say right now it looks like it's going to be Hillary and Trump is what it really
The
looks
two
like it might come
candidates
down
with the
to.
highest
Now,
negatives of all
so
20
here's
that
the
started.
interesting thought, though. Sanders has such a high supporter base because he's anti-establishment. Trump has such a high supporter base because he's anti-establishment. Do you think we're going to end up seeing who were Sanders supporters show up and actually vote for Trump if Hillary gets the
But do
nomination?
you-
Or are they just going to stay home?
I think they might just stay home because they really show an utter despise towards Hillary Clinton. When you watch some of the interviews, now they could be skewed by whatever media station is playing this.
It is.
Okay,
It is, because
you know,
I know some of these people, and it's not.
You really have far reaches.
I do.
Okay. All right.
I talk to lots of people, trust me.
But are they going to, when it's all said and done, are the Sanders supporters going to come out and support Clinton when it counts?
Well, I
at the
think
polls?
it remains to be seen. And, I just think that both sides have a problem here. When you have such high negatives for both candidates, I don't know how this is going to play out.
But those
Because
numbers can get
all of
resolved.
the enthusiasm is with other candidates, and you've got a whole generation out there, under 40, who loves Bernie Sanders. I have nieces, everyone I know practically that I know of that age loves Bernie Sanders. Some of them are Republicans. That's the future, no matter what happens. Hillary's the past, Trump's the past. We'll see what happens.
Bernie doesn't have much future ahead of him at his age. All due
I
respect.
mean, what he
But the
stands for,
the
his
actuarial
movement is
tables
gonna
are
go
not
on.
in his favor.
Well, no, they aren't, but this isn't just a sports game here. This is about changing politics with a capital P. This isn't like reporting on sports.
But
That's
this
what
is
they do on
also
the
about
networks.
democratic socialism, and I would argue,
No. Well, that's FDR, yeah.
I would argue that
FDR.
there's not going to be a socialist elected in the United States.
Oh, I think you better be
Janice,
careful.
what do you think?
You better be careful.
I think it really depends on who decides to get out to vote.
Yeah.
It will,
You
may,
know,
may
I-
happen
I-
eventually.
Or who stays
It
home?
may happen eventually.
Right.
I don't think it's going to happen this, obviously it's not going to
Oh,
happen
God,
this
it's not
cycle.
going to happen this
But,
cycle, probably. but-
I think the real concern that I have is if Clinton, you're mentioning the negatives. We still have a long way, almost 6.5 months until the general election.
Yep.
So those negatives will get played out in the media, and they'll start being more presidential. They'll start attacking. I mean, Donald Trump has now coined a new phrase for Hillary Clinton. Okay, he doesn't have to deal with lying Ted much longer. He's coined a new phrase.
Of course he will.
Okay, and he's already
a
floated,
television huckster, that's what it
crooked
is.
Hillary. He's playing to the camera. He's playing to the audience. But how is that going to play off with the general public? And will the negatives, when we only have two candidates going mano a mano, will the negatives start to disappear and start to skew in favor of the candidate that ultimately wins?
I just want to say, as a satire writer, I love this election.
Oh, God, how could you not?
Because, today on the Hagerstown Report, I got to post a thing about, hey, Donald Trump speaks in Berlin, talking about how he's going to make Germany great again. So,
is Donald Trump going to build a wall along the Potomac River? So we have the issue with West Virginia and
Well,
Maryland.
see, what we need to do
He's
is we need
never
to build
gonna
a
get the
dam.
opportunity.
Build a
Nope, you're
dam
not
so
gonna
that
get elected.
the rivers from up in Pennsylvania don't pollute the bay, and we're good.
Repeat
So-
after me. You ready for this one,
Sure,
Tom?
yes.
President Trump.
No, I highly doubt that.
I think
President
it's coming.
Trump.
I really
Oh,
do.
I don't think so.
It scares me, but
I
I,
doubt
think it's
it.
coming.
I don't think that can happen. He has such a small base, even in the Republican Party. They
I
had
don't think
800,000 people voted in the state of New York. That state is huge. He got, what,
I don't think-
400,000 to
I don't
vote for
think
him.
we know his base, and to your point about
We do. We do
no,
know
we
his
don't,
base.
because
No, I
to
think
your
we
point
do.
on the Democratic side
do.
about the Bernie people, well, do they stay home? Do they vote for Trump? Whatever. There's going to be a percentage of the Bernie voters that are voting against Hillary and not for Bernie, and
Yeah, but
those that
you-
are voting
you can't
against
alienate
Hillary.
women, minorities, you know,
Sure, you can.
and still win the election.
Sure
No,
you can.
no. Because those people,
I
even
said,
if they don't
I
like
said you can't
Hillary,
be a total buffoon and win an election, but Barack Obama proved me wrong on that twice.
yes, so you've been wrong before, Jim, and I think you're going to be wrong again on this one.
Time will tell.
I think so.
You know, but I think probably the most surprised individual out of all this race is Donald Trump. I don't think he thought he would ever get this far.
I think it's
You know,
Bernie
that's
Sanders.
that's a good point. That
You
is-
know, I think
Bernie
he
Sanders.
got in, and I think he's, oh, well,
nobody.
I'll kick the tires and see how it goes, because he proves he's not politically savvy because he doesn't have the infrastructure there to be, going after the delegate votes who are
Right.
uncommitted.
And that's a mistake on his side, and I'm going to take the final word on that. Next up on the flip side, the debate over binding arbitration in the city of Hagerstown, well, it's back. Stay
Yeah.
tuned.
It's back.
We'll have that report, and we'll have lots of opinions, I'm sure of that.